Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful argument from the book Games for Gravitas. The idea is that the future of developing professional skills, well, it isn't in a textbook or a lecture.
Right.
It's actually in the, let's say, deliberate, strategic use of play. We're in what the book calls the hybrid intelligence era, the HIE.
Yeah, the HIE. It's where AI is collaborating with us, often taking on a lot of the heavy lifting, analytically speaking.
It feels like an unprecedented crossroads, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. And it means we as humans have to really double down on the skills AI can't replicate.
Like what specifically?
Well, think about ethical judgment, empathy, true creativity, resilience, being adaptable. If algorithms handle the automation, the data crunching...
Then our edge is human.
Exactly. Our competitive advantage boils down to those qualities. And research, like from the World Economic Forum, keeps highlighting these non-automatable skills as the ones employers want most.
Okay, so the problem seems obvious then. You can't really learn resilience or, say, complex ethical thinking just by listening passively.
No way.
Those traditional models, lectures, reading, they seem to be failing to build this kind of adaptive, collaborative workforce that this HIE really demands.
That's the core issue.
So our mission today is to explore why strategic play isn't just a fun diversion, but maybe the essential engine for transforming organizations in this age of AI.
And to really grasp that strategic value, we first have to tackle the big hurdle, the stigma that, well, that play is somehow childish or not serious work.
Right, the games are for kids idea.
Exactly. And Games for Gravitas hits this head on. It shows that games are actually hardwired into our evolution.
That's fascinating, the evolutionary angle. You're saying play isn't some modern add-on, but a foundational human tool.
Precisely. Think about our ancestors. Proto-sports, playful activities, they weren't just for kicks.
They were training simulators.
In a way, yes. They were safe, low-stakes ways to develop crucial survival skills, running, throwing, thinking strategically, but also, importantly, group cohesion, cooperation.
Ah, so both individual skills and teamwork.
Yes. Play built both individual competence and collective intelligence. It's a really deep-seated mechanism for learning quickly and effectively.
And if you connect that evolutionary history to modern learning science, the picture gets even clearer. You mentioned the learning pyramid earlier.
Right, the learning pyramid. It shows how passive methods, reading, listening to lectures, the stuff dominating corporate training, lead to pretty dismal retention rates.
Dismal,
Like maybe 5 or 10% retention. It's shockingly low.
Wow. Okay, compared to what?
Compared to active methods. When people shift from just sitting and listening to actually doing something, practicing, applying it, even teaching it to others, retention rates can skyrocket. We're talking up to 90%.
90%. That's a massive difference.
Huge. And game-based experiences naturally fit right at the bottom of that pyramid, the active part. They demand immediate action, making decisions under pressure, working together, and then, crucially, reflecting on it all.
And that reflection part, that's where you build resilience, right? Games offer these fail-safe experiments.
Exactly. Fail-safe. You can try a totally wild strategy in a game, see it bomb spectacularly.
And the only cost is maybe a bit of time and ego.
Right, that ability to learn from failure, to absorb it in a safe space, that's infinitely more valuable than, say, acing a quiz after a lecture.
Learning through failure. That seems key.
It is. Games create this emotional and cognitive friction. It makes abstract ideas feel real, embodied. You get that aha moment because you felt the consequences.
And that's what makes it stick.
It drives deeper understanding, longer retention. Absolutely.
Okay, this focus on doing naturally leads to design. If play is this strategic engine, how do we actually engineer it properly for impact? Games for Gravitas lays out a blueprint, doesn't it? The 6 pillars.
Yes, the 6 pillars of strategic game design. They ensure the game is never just entertainment. It has to start with the learning focus. Meaning you have to be crystal clear on the specific skill or behavior you want to change. Is it communication precision, risk tolerance, you name it?
Okay, so step 1. Know your goal, then comes the game itself.
Right, the mechanics, the rules, they have to directly reinforce that learning focus.
Pillar 3 is the participant profile, tailoring it.
Crucial. You wouldn't use a super complex financial simulation game meant for senior execs with, say, entry-level technicians.
Right, you might use something more hands-on, like that aircraft manufacturing game example for teaching workflow basics.
Exactly. Relevance is key. Then the last three pillars are about deployment. Environment, physical, virtual, hybrid effects, who can access it.
And duration, that's easily overlooked.
Very easily. Too short, the learning doesn't embed. Too long, people get tired, frustrated.
And the whole experience sours.
Right. It needs careful calibration to sustain impact without causing fatigue.
And the final pillar, material. The props, tools, virtual elements.
Yeah, and this isn't just about making it look good. The materials enhance the experience and critically support reflection. Think about recording a team's interaction during a stressful part of the game.
So they can watch it back during the debrief.
Exactly. Replay it, analyze their mistakes objectively. That kind of evidence is gold.
But you mentioned the game design is only half the story. The book really emphasizes facilitation.
Oh, absolutely. The facilitator isn't just a moderator reading rules, they're the transformation architect. Their goal is to unlock the collective intelligence in the room and guide it towards achieving those organizational goals. They're the key lever.
So if the game is the car chassis, the facilitator is the engine driving the transformation. What separates a good facilitator from a great one here?
It really comes down to the skilled use of the post-game debrief. This phase is non-negotiable. Honestly, it's often the most critical part of the whole thing.
More critical than the game itself.
Often, yes. If you skip or rush the debrief, you just had a fun activity. If you nail the debrief, you've actually started changing behavior.
That leap from playing to applying sounds vital. How is that structured? What does a good debrief look like?
It typically follows three strategic steps. First, what happened? Just objective recall. Get people to describe the facts, the outcomes, without judgment or blame.
Okay, just the facts.
Then second, what did you learn? This is where the analysis happens. Why did those outcomes occur? Was it a communication breakdown? A flawed strategy? What were the insights?
And the third step?
The most important one, the bridge. How will you apply this? This is commitment time. How will they take the learning, maybe the insight from their in-game failure, and translate it into a specific measurable behavior change back in their actual job?
That's the connection to the real world.
That bridging is the difference between a fun afternoon and real organizational change.
Okay, that framework really elevates the whole idea. Let's talk concrete examples. The book categorizes games, right?
Yeah.
For skills, collaboration, transformation.
Yes, it provides specific playbooks. For collaboration and communication, a great example is the Draw Star game.
Draw Star. What's the purpose there?
It's designed to really illuminate the challenges of strategy, clear communication, and teamwork, especially under constraints.
And how does it work? The mechanics.
They're beautifully simple, actually. You have one person, the leader, who can see. They have to guide a teammate who is blindfolded to draw a specific shape, often a 5-pointed star, using only verbal instructions.
Oh, wow. Okay, I can immediately imagine the tension, the frustration.
Precisely. The learning hits fast. You realize how incredibly difficult it is to translate a perfectly clear idea in your head into precise, actionable instructions for someone who's essentially operating blind.
So it teaches careful wording, checking for understanding.
And leadership tone. How you say it matters just as much as what you say. Sometimes the strategy is fine, but the communication breaks down completely.
Okay, building on that, there's the blindfold game for leadership and execution. Sounds more complex.
It ramps up the complexity and the need for trust. Here you have one leader, not blindfolded, guiding an entire team of blindfolded people through some kind of physical task within a marked-out safe zone. Again, only using voice commands.
An entire team, blindfolded.
Yes, it simulates leading a complex project where there's high uncertainty. The leader has the vision, the map, but they have to rely entirely on their instructions and trust that the team can execute without seeing the whole picture or even each other clearly.
That sounds like a recipe for chaos if the communication isn't spot on.
It shows very quickly how execution falls apart without clear, structured guidance and high levels of trust. It's actually a great parallel for things like large-scale ERP system rollouts or complex change initiatives.
Makes sense. And finally, let's touch on empathy and perspective, which you said are critical HIE skills. The perspective game, the 81 versus 18 one.
Ah, yes, the 81 versus 18 game. It's fantastic for quickly surfacing perceptual bias.
How's that one work?
It's a very quick, powerful intervention. You have participants look at a number, usually written on a transparent sheet or viewed through a cutout. From one side, someone clearly sees the number 81.
Okay.
But the person sitting directly opposite, looking at the same thing from their angle, sees 18.
Ah, because the digits look different. Flip.
Exactly. The power isn't the trick itself. It's the moment of disagreement. Each person argues vehemently that their number is the correct one.
Until they realize.
Until they realize the person across the table is also completely correct, based entirely on their physical perspective.
That's a potent way to demonstrate bias.
It makes the abstract idea of multiple valid perspectives concrete. You become instantly aware of your own perceptual limits. It's invaluable for breaking down silos, making diversity discussions more productive, and just getting teams to understand why they might disagree. Empathy becomes a shared experience, not just a concept.
It's definitely clear we've moved way past seeing games as just team-building fun. These sound like methodical, measurable tools for tackling real organizational challenges.
Absolutely. They drive tangible skill development and quantifiable shifts in behavior. And the data backs it up.
What kind of data?
Well, the book mentions examples like organizations using virtual treasure hunts and seeing 20–30% faster adoption of new technologies.
Faster adoption by that much? That's significant.
It is. Or look at Accenture using focused VR simulations for complex tasks. They reported seeing up to a 30% reduction in training time needed.
So game-based learning is proving its ROI, especially for complex, large-scale changes.
Exactly. The evidence is mounting.
Which brings us to the final takeaway from Games for Gravitas. It seems the conclusion is pretty stark. In this hybrid intelligence era, strategic games aren't just nice to have, they're essential.
Essential infrastructure for developing human capability. That's the argument. The question for leaders isn't if they should use these strategies anymore,
But how to prioritize them.
Precisely. When you're planning your investments in people, you need to think about the challenges. Is this an essential priority challenge? Things like team cohesion, basic tech adoption areas where games might offer the fastest, biggest return.
As opposed to
Maybe a differentiator challenge like boosting market creativity or an opportunistic challenge. It's about figuring out where strategic play gives you the most leverage, the biggest bang for your buck.
understanding where it fits best strategically.
That's the crucial first step.
Okay, so a final thought for you, the listener, to take away and maybe mull over. Look at your own organization's roadmap right now. Pinpoint that one challenge you'd classify as an essential priority, the one where failing would hurt the most. Then ask yourself, which strategic game playbook, like the ones we discussed, could potentially unlock the fastest, most measurable improvement in behavior and performance for that specific critical priority?